Today we're going to talk about the Pythagorean theorem and how we use it. The Pythagorean theorem is an important theorem in math. It's used in both geometry and algebra. Some important vocabulary to start with. The hypotenuse is the longest side of a right triangle, and it's always the side opposite of the right triangle. So you can see it's marked with a question mark on that triangle. It's very important. You can see that it's highlighted, it's bolded, that it has to be a right triangle. This theorem only works for right triangles. So we have that hypotenuse, that longest side across from the right angle, marked with a question mark. And then we have the legs, which are just the two sides that are not the hypotenuse. So those are the two sides on either side, or the two sides of the triangle that are on either side of that 90-degree angle. So what is the Pythagorean theorem? The Pythagorean theorem says that when you have a right triangle, again, it has to be a right triangle, then the sum of the square of the hypotenuse, remember that's that longest side across from the right angle, is equal to the sum of the squares of the other two sides or legs of the triangle. A lot of students just end up remembering a squared plus b squared equals c squared, where c is the hypotenuse and a and b are the other two sides. They can be interchanged, but of course c always has to be the hypotenuse. So again, how do we know when we're supposed to use the Pythagorean theorem? Well, there's two things. One, we have to have a right triangle. We already said that's the only kind of triangle that the Pythagorean theorem works for. And two, we need to know two of the sides, and we're wanting to know the third side. So for example, we have this triangle where the legs are 6 and 8, and the hypotenuse, the c, is unknown to us, and that's what we would like to find. So if you look to the right of the example, we have a squared plus b squared equals c squared, and what we're going to do is we're going to fill in what we know. Well, again, we know the legs, a and b, 6 and 8. We're trying to find the c. So we're going to fill in a, I'm just going to call it 6. So instead of a squared, we're going to put 6 squared. Instead of b squared, we're going to put 8 squared. And then we don't know c, so we're going to leave c squared blank. Then we're going to simplify. 6 squared is 36. 8 squared is 64. Equals, again, still c squared. Next, we're going to go ahead and simplify some more. We're going to get 100 equals c squared. Now the final step to get c by itself is just to take the square root of both sides, and we're going to get c equals 10. Now from the example, we found that our c was 10 centimeters. So now we're just going to check our answer. So now instead of just plugging in 6 and 8, we're also going to plug in 10 and make sure that we get the correct answer. So when we plug in 6 for A, 8 for B, and 10 for C, we get 6 squared plus 8 squared equals 10 squared. We simplify each of those and get 36 plus 64 equals 100. Once we simplify the left side, 36 plus 64, we do get 100 equals 100, so our equation is true.